Sunday and the weather's kind of looking nice. Keep getting some dark clouds blowing over and every now and then, but I think the forecast is meant to be good. So I'm going to try and get those doors finished sanding and I can get some shellac on those. Then try and sand as much of the drawers as I can. I've got to do the drawer fronts too, so they can be shellacked. But I've got to try and sand as much of the paint off the outsides of the drawers. My wife has decided she's going to just put contact paper on the insides of the drawers. So don't paint anything white now on the inside of the drawers or the inside of the cabinets. Just sand it as much as I can and just do the shellac over the outsides and just try and sand the drawers. And I guess probably wax the outside of the drawers so they kind of slide a bit better since they're just wood on wood runners. Let's see how we go. It's the start of week 2. The weekend kind of felt, I think the weather on Saturday really put me in a depressed mood. It was just like the weather was horrible, couldn't do anything outside the house. I know I wanted to get that dresser finished, which I did. The only thing left to do with it now is I want to do a wax, rub in a furniture wax on it as well to protect the outside a bit more, because the shellac, like I'm not doing French polish, the shellac is just being brushed on, so it basically burns into each layer and sets, and so it develops a little bit of a protection, but it's not like a hard or glossy finish, like especially this being plywood. The plywood really just soaks it in. A slightly glossier look to it on any solid timber parts, and that also depends on which timber it is, the porosity of the timber. The tops and the sides of the cabinet have now got 7 coats of shellac. The doors and the drawer fronts, which were kind of the last things to get done, and I put the doors on so I could sort of swing and I could get coats all around them without having them sit on something. And the drawers, I sat in the cabinet and just sort of pulled them out to be able to do the fronts. They got 3 coats each. And the last thing I did was the piece of timber that goes across the back, and I think that's got 3 coats. Still going to have to get some proper handles because I don't want to put those little crystal things back on it, especially the fact that it requires a 2-pull handle really. But I got it into the house, but it's only in the lounge room at the moment because the room it's going to go into needs a fair bit of stuff moved out of the way. But we've got a spot set up for it which it'll fit perfectly in. So I want to try and get that up there to see how I'm feeling tonight. So like I said, I've got to move the stuff out of the way upstairs, and the stuff that's in the way is fairly substantial. It's a lot of stuff just sort of crammed into a corner, including a chair and actually 2 chairs and some boxes and stuff. So I'll get that sorted. At work is just a faculty-driven professional development. It's the school decided basically that if you need time to plan when you're at school, especially for faculties where they do group planning of who's doing what and what are we going to do, how do we want to lay out the first term, that sort of stuff. With my faculty, it's like with stage 4 classes, who's going to do what unit is basically what needs to be decided, so that the rooming can be sorted out, so that we're in luck that we've got computers available, whether it be desktops or laptops, across the whole faculty. But it's a case of like who needs to use the workshop, who needs to use the kitchen, and so that sort of shuffle is very important at the start of the year. And I know in the past, I know last year definitely, but in the past it was like minds being changed about who's going to do what when, possibly because somebody's going on leave and we got hard to cover class, or we don't know who we're going to have, and that sort of thing. So you can't go into a workshop, or you can't go into a kitchen. So it's a real jigsaw. All of the other subjects, I think they're pretty much roomed. I wrote a list of some of the things I know that I've got to get done. One is print all the school timetables, like every year group for the year advisors. For inside my faculty, I've got to set up all of Year 7 on our on-guard safety program. It'd be good to try and get the mark books set up nice and early. So that people can sort of enter stuff as they go. And we had a discussion on Friday about stage 4, whether to go to semesterized units rather than term-based, because stuff always comes up. You might not get stuff done in the one term. If you do it semesterized, you could do like a big long project, or you could do a lot of small projects and have them sort of blend into each other. I've just got everything rolling through my head of what needs to get done at the start of the year. A lot of my stuff is school or faculty based, as opposed to my stuff. But I did write down a few things I've got to do. Get myself reacquainted with the trade school, get it set up for medals. My Year 12 construction kids have to go out on work placement next week, and fingers crossed they all come back to school day 1, because that's the only time I have them before next week. So I've got to try and message them all on Google Classroom and email them all, send them their paperwork. That one's a tricky one. I know my hospo one's even worse, because she has kids going out this week. So out on work placement before they've actually started school. So that was a big faux pas on the part of region, and I guess us. I think we put in, can we try and do the Year 12 work placements either term 4 or early term 1 the next year. But because we had such a large cohort of hospitality kids at 2 classes, somewhere between 30 and 40 kids, there's not that many work placements. So we just had to take dates that they gave us, and this was one of them. And it was like, at the end of the year when we saw them, it was like, that doesn't work. And I had the same thing with my guys. It was this week and next week, and I said, look, I can't send my kids out this week. They'll forget over the holidays. The last thing I want is for us to commit to go into a work placement and then the kid's not showing up. So I need to have them in the second week, like third week. It all starts again. So there's the cabinet. It just needs handles. I like the contrast in the colour, like the walnut. This is a lighter colour of walnut. This bit here, not quite, and the back piece is a lot lighter. I'm not panning up to the mirror because I've got a whole stack of crap here that used to be there. So there's the cabinet. Happy hump day. Today was the last of our professional development days. All the kids come back tomorrow. 2 of our days were specified professional development, and the other 2 were set up as faculty preparation days. And people getting at the start of their programs, the first couple of lessons ready and all that sort of thing. I spent my whole time on the timetable. Just last minute tidy ups, last minute changes. It wasn't hard work. It's sort of stuff that I can do quite easily now. But it's just time consuming. And today was like deadline for everybody to have everything, any sort of change they wanted to me, because I was going to be printing out the kids' timetables. And I had to do them all because they're all coming back tomorrow. So I got them all printed out. Our SLSO sort of helped put them all together in folders for the year advisors, and then I sent out an email to the year advisors, please come and collect them. And they all came across during the day, or during the second half of the day, to collect them. All ready for tomorrow. And I have 2 classes, period 3 and 4, year 12 and year 11 construction in that order. And year 12, I need to give them their paperwork for work placement. And it'd be nice to see year 11 because it's the very first lesson. But being that they wouldn't be expecting it, I don't know. I am basically going to be sitting at the computer taking care of any students' timetables who might be missing classes, missing electives, and that's going to be the case from 8 through to 11. Kids who didn't pick at the end of last year, kids who missed on electives, so they've got to pick something else. It's going to be a massive task. It'd be great if I got it done by recess, because then I could just have my classes. But we'll just play that by ear and see how we go. I know the deputy rang me just as I was walking out today, because we had to be out by 3:30. Because the cleaners had done a straight shift, so we couldn't hang around. And there was a new room set up in F block, F14, and it was made aware, well, the deputy was made aware that there's meant to be 3 classes in there tomorrow, and there's no furniture. Because it was set up as a brand new room. It used to be offices, so now it's a classroom, and it's got no classroom furniture. So I've got to try and find other rooms for those classes first thing tomorrow. I don't know how long that's going to have to be. I don't know how long it'll take to get furniture in. So I guess we shall play that by ear as well. Day 1 with the kids done. busy as anything. Although I did manage to get to my period 3 and 4 classes, the year 12s and the year 11s construction, which was good because 6 year 12s were there, so they were all able to get their paperwork for work placement, make phone calls and be prepared to go on Monday. And then year 11 first lesson, a little bit of a chat about the way the course is laid out, and then getting them onto the laptops to try and get them onto Google Classroom, onto Evidence Central, signed up for work placement, at least those things. So I think for the most part they got that done. There was one brand new student who's brand new to the system, so he doesn't have a department login yet, so that was kind of something that's holding him, it's going to hold him back just a little bit at the start. So hopefully his enrolment will be synchronised with the department by Monday, because it's the next time that I have the class. That being said, Monday I was asked to sit in for one of the deputies who's not going to be at school because they wanted to get some enrolments done, and I've done quite a few enrolments from when I was sitting up there before. And then they called me today and said something else has come up, can you be up here on Tuesday as well? It's always willing to help out and get things done, but I think on the Monday, year 12 twice, so that's not a big deal because they're out on work placement. But I think on Monday and Tuesday, they're going to be the first 2 times that I would see one of the stage 5 classes, the medal class. So that's going to be a bit of a, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I see the timber class tomorrow afternoon. So at least by the end of tomorrow, in 2 days, I'll have seen 3 of my 4 classes. And I think year 11 is on both Monday and Tuesday as well, so it's always a very busy time at the start of the year, and everybody's basically just got to chip in to try and get things running as smoothly as possible. So I was glad to get those in. So glad that I got approval to buy that pallet jack last year. And I know they used it over the holidays when some stuff arrived for the construction space. But these in here are dust extraction units, similar to that and that, because I need one down there for the disc sander, and I need one up here to go with the thicknesser. And I ordered these last year and they just arrived today. It's well past time to leave work, but as I was walking out of the block, these were sitting kind of near the car park. I'll show you where. See, both of them were just sitting here. This gate goes into the block, that one goes to the car park. And the GA had left them here because she couldn't just wheel them through this gate. They were wider than the gate, and that's why I had them up on the pallet jack funny. But the GA is not at school Monday, Tuesday. I'm not up here because I'm down as a DP. So they were just going to sit here, and during the day they'd be open to the car park. So I wanted to make sure I got them down into the workshop before I left today because it's Friday. So even with leaving work late, a lot later than I wanted to, because I was walking out to the car just after 5 and then saw those pallets. I went, yeah, they're not staying there for the whole weekend. And the fact that the GA is on his RDO days, Monday and Tuesday. And the only difficult part was getting it through the gate and the little finagling to get the pallet jack under it the right way and then back off it. Even with getting away a little later, I had to stop on the way to get some stuff at the store. So he's already been fed, and my wife had already told him that Dad was going to take him for a walk when he got home. So he was looking at me like that as soon as I got there. And it's still bright enough at the moment. One bonus of daylight savings. Do you want to turn around? No? Just taking a break.